Hi, I am Firas, and today I'm going to continue the parametric chair, continuing from this parametric curvy table that I did in a previous tutorial. And as you can see, you can open the previous tutorial and have a look at this parametric table that I did, that I'm actually going to get rid of this glass panel and change it into seat, and then I'm going to add a seat back here and then change this into chair. So let's do that. I'll go to file here and save as the family, and I'm going to call it a parametric chair. And the first thing to start up with is to go to the front view. I'm gonna change the scale of those to a smaller one anyway. So you see this glass panel, it's actually, I don't want it to face down anymore, so I'm gonna create a new reference plane here horizontally, and then add a parameter, a labeled parameter to it through that dimension, and I will call it seat height or cushion height, or whatever you like. I'll keep it 40 if you like, flex it, that's the most important thing. Let's say 30, and it's working perfectly as I can see. Select the glass, the lower part of it, push it to the higher level. I'm gonna tell you that you need to remove the constraint to the glass thickness that's have, so yes, remove, and then lock it to the new constraint. You can go ahead and select this and delete it. I'm just gonna ignore that. Anyway, in 3D, you need to select this as a glass. It's not required anymore. And from here, pick the default, just to get rid of the glass transparent material that we have in here. Anyway, now it looks like we have a cushion or a seat for the chair, but we need to make it more human scale. As you can see that the height here is 300. I'll just go for making it 450 and make everything like a 500 by 500, the width and height. And that's kind of make it slightly higher. The legs, leg radius, I think they are small, should be like 7 or so, to make it stronger to carry the weight of a human being. Anyway, 7 millimeter as a radius, 1.4. I think it's better. Now you go to, I'll go to the front again, and in here I'm going to make the back. So before, it's a good idea to decide where to work. So I'm going to return to the reference level, and I'm going to use set pick level, and then use the back, this one, as a reference plane, as the place to work on. Now I'm going to create a reference plane here and add a dimension and then a label parameter, and I will call that back height, flexing it to 1000. And now I'll create my sweep, and again sketch path, pick lines, same similar technique that I used before. Select, lock, and then select, lock, and then select, and then lock, trim, and then fillet, make that temporary permanent, and then zoom, push that to the edge of the ground floor. Then finish, and then draw the, I didn't choose that, so select this and select that. I actually forgot. So give them a radius parameter, so it will be similar to the rest curves. And now in the edit profile here, return to the reference level and then sketch a circle. This should be similar to the leg radius for the rest of the geometry. And now we have to finish sketch mode, and we can get the back as you can see here. That's the metal part of it. Now we need the cushion here. So I will go to the front view and create two new reference plane, one here and another one here, and again keep the habit of making less important reference plane shorter than the main one. Add a dimension here like such, and then let's give them a parameter. I'll call it just gap, and flex that whatever number you like, maybe 80, I don't know, 70. You can make it just double the amount of the seat height if you like, anyway. Now you need another two reference plane, because the cushion, if you depend on this, it's going to be inside the metal and we don't want that. So technically you need extra two reference plane, one here and one here, and I'm gonna add a dimension here and another dimension here. Those two things should go as a diameter, same thing that we've done here. Now we can create easily an extrusion based on picking those reference plane. Lock them, don't forget. Trim. And then fillet. Select again, and I will give them the radius here, same parameter that I give for that, and then I will finish the sketch mode. And if you look at the 3D, you're gonna see that it's created correctly as the distance here. See this gap? That's what we wanted. But as you can see, the depth is totally a mess. So you go to reference level again, slightly zoom out, and then create your new reference plane, same as you've done what you've done with the seat. So add that here. Now we give it the seat height, and I'm gonna select this and drag that to the new reference level, actually reference plane, and then lock it. Now if you go to the 3D, you're gonna see that's it's kind of, see, that's what we want. Now flex the seat height parameter, let's make it 40, hit apply, see it's working smoothly. Put it back to 30. That's what we want technically. It's a good idea to save from time to time. Now what we need is to finish this is to have just this 4 pins here to carry this. You cannot make one here and one here like what we've done at the back. It's gonna be ugly, so it's a good idea to keep 2 here and 2 here. And also it's a good idea to exercise a different way of dealing with reference plane. So I'll add a reference plane here, and a reference plane here again, and DI again, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm gonna go here to 4, and then I'm gonna take equal, so the pins will be exactly distance as and equal to each other related to the top and bottom, and give you a better way, more realistic way I think in doing that. Anyway, now if the height, the back height change, all those distance and the location of them will change accordingly, and that's what we want anyway. Now I have to create the pin actually at that level, so I will go to the reference level here, and in the create I'm gonna use set and then pick, and I'm gonna pick this one as I think, yeah, this and this, so this one, and I will see it from the right, and again that's my intersection area. So on the extrusion I'll pick circle, and I'll draw one circle here and one circle here, and then I'm gonna select the dimension here and add leg radius to it to be the same thickness. Good idea to change the scale here, hit finish, and then if we look at it in the 3D again, it is placed in the correct reference plane, but the direction again is wrong. So whatever we did in here, see that way, what we've done, see, is we gave it a pin length minus. So come here, select this and give it the same thing, and it's gonna work, as you can see, correctly to hold, or at least to connect the cushion to the back seat here. If you are not happy with this relationship, especially if you increase the curve, in this case it's a good idea to change this formula for this, and you can just make this twice the height. See, if you want really to get it more realistic, or actually allow the chair to deal with more possibility of more curvature or high radius curvature. Now we have to repeat this step, the last step actually, and this time I'm gonna create the 2 pins based on that reference plane, seeing it from the left, and then an extrusion, same step exactly. And as you can see, I'm gonna select those, and in the property I'm just gonna give them, instead of the default value, I'm gonna give them pin length, and now the geometry is almost finished. So if you are happy with it, you can just stop and then just save it, and that's it. If you want to make it slightly more complicated, I think you can just add here a kind of fillet or a curvature. It's kind of not nice, I think, to keep this, as you can see, like that. So I will go here to create, and I'll make a sweep here, and in this sweep I will pick path here and picking 3D edges, and I'll select the edges of this, as you can see. Alright, and finish, and then I'll sketch a profile here, and in here I'll go to pick and select this line and lock it, select this and then lock it again. With the offset, you can just draw new lines, or offset this actually based on that, whatever you like, whatever tool you like. So you can just pick this and offset it with a value of 10, like this, and then select this and offset it like 10. Then with trim, you can remove everything, X register rectangle here, add a circle, like such, and then as you can see, you can just, actually it's not a circle, because if you do it as a circle, you can actually, you have to use a break. So it's a good idea to make it as a curve. I think it's faster. Alright, and then you can just get rid of those two things, two lines, the constructional lines, this one and this one. If you want to make this a parametric, in this case you have to add, you have to select this and then make that permanent and then give it a value. I'm not going to do that for lots of reasons, and usually it's a good idea to keep this radius as twice the thickness of the seat height, and that's really a good idea. To whenever the height increase, it's always the curvature is half of it. Anyway, I don't want to get into that. It's gonna get itself more complicated, and I'll just keep it as simple as it is now. If you finish the sketching here and then hit another finish to finish the actual sweep itself, pick this new geometry that you created and just switch it into a void, hit apply, and then you can just cut it out. I'll select this one, and then I'm gonna select this, and I think now it's more curvy, and I'm gonna repeat the steps that we done here quickly. And by doing that, you find that you almost manage to make the chair as we wanted. And it's a good idea to flex. And when you come and do the flexing thing here, and it's sometimes when we did the previous tutorials was easy to understand how it worked, but now, as you can see, it's kind of getting more and more complicated because there's too many or too much actually parameter. So it's a good idea to select those who you think that they are not important, like, or less important, like for example the diameter or the gap maybe, and you can hit modify and change its grouping into something else, maybe others, or here maybe, and you hit OK. So you get rid or actually clean those who are actually the parameter, I mean, who actually are less used. As you can see, for example, the pen, we rarely gonna change that or actually anyone to notice it. So it's a good idea to push it down and keep only the important here, even the diameter. Keep the back height, the height, the leg radius, the length, the main radius, the seat height, if you like. And I think even the seat height, no one gonna change it much. So keep those. As you separate them, it's kind of easier for you to deal with the entire work here. And now we can create a new type of this. So I will call this chair 1, or let's call it whatever, which setting we have, like 500 by 500 by 1000 with a radius of how much? Actually it's 150. So we're gonna keep that as a first type. The new one, let's make it, I don't know, 500 by 1000, and then the radius, let's go, I don't know, 200 maybe. And let's try to change this. It's probably gonna collapse maybe, so careful when you increase the radius. And thanks God it didn't, because usually when you have a geometries like this that have a line here and this edge and a curve, a fillet, if this radius was bigger than the what actually that allow us to do that, you two halves here, so the radius shouldn't, I think, increase more than the half of what actually this, which is the width. So be careful. It's not always all the time it's gonna be accepting this. And you can make a third type, let's say 500 by 500 by 1000, and the radius, let's go maybe 30. So let's put a radius of 30, and it looks like more straight lines, you know, like to have a different ways of presenting this chair into your project. And you can save this. The seat height actually also might conflict with the radius, or if you do like two curves like this, and that's one of the reasons that I didn't make the boolean here, or the subtraction curve, this one I didn't make it parametric, because if the radius of that curve actually can overlap or damage the horizontal curve in here. So you have to be careful when you have two radiuses, actually one of them in the vertical subtraction here like this, and the second one in the plan. You might need here to be careful when you increase this and this, the radius and the seat height. And sometimes I get into the habit of coming here to the modify and add a tip here, like, I don't know, like be careful of blah blah blah, you know, telling people that what you think and what you want from changing here. So when you stop here, see, it's gonna tell you your point of view or what actually you shouldn't change, or you know, like it's a good way to remind yourself or to warn the people or your users from having this type of problems based on the types of collapses that you may get during flexing this type of geometry. Anyway, I will stop in here and hit OK, accepting that, saving it. You're almost finished, and you need now to open a new project and then load it. Sorry, it actually should create a new project rather than opening a new one. It's gonna take a little bit, just my laptop is really old. So that's an empty project that I am opening. Switch between the project environment, which is the empty environment that you can see now, to the family editor. It's actually gonna switch between window to window. So in this case, it's gonna switch between the project and the family editor itself. So just push the load into project button to load the chair into our project to finish this job. And we're gonna place it on the ground floor, as you can see. So I'm gonna place that in here and probably place second and then third. And if I go to the 3D view, and change into a shaded, you can now change the type, like this one. You can drop down and change it into like a more straight type, while this one you can switch it into a more curvy one, as you can see. And by that you can get different types and different curvature of the same chair, and you can use it in your work. I wish that this tutorial was useful for you. Anyway, thank you for watching that and have a good day.